Hi viewers, welcome back to Mom and Jess Women Talk Show, another insightful episode in the Marital Woe series. So today with me is a very lovely couple. You can see they are all looking blue and beautiful. They are the Patrick family. I'm not sure your surname, is it Patrick or Hosea?
Patrick is actually the surname.
Wow, interesting. So with me is the Patrick family, and we're taking the very insightful and sensitive topic, we might say, because it's titled Incompatibility in Marriage. So stay tuned. Couples, I'm very sure you'll be blessed. This couple have a lot to share with us. They were once on Mom and Jess, and they really did justice. So they are here to give us some values, nuggets that you take on. Sit back, grab your popcorn, juice, whatever you got, and catch up with the Patricks. Sam, Mem, you're welcome to Mom and Jess Women Talk Show.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. Please do well to introduce yourselves to the viewers.
Okay, they say ladies first, right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Rhoda Titilokwemilua Patrick. And then I pass it on to my lovely husband over here.
Okay, hello everyone. Hello. My name is Patrick Osia. Osia is actually the name. Patrick is my father's name, which is now the surname. And then Olaiwola is the other name. Thank you very much. Last time I was here, I was looking a little bit.
You need to watch it previously.
But now I am a matter. I'm a matter. Let's just say I'm a matter.
God. That is what happens when you're happily married. We thank God for that. The glory of God is radiating in this family indeed. I can see you guys are blossoming.
Thank you.
Yeah, we give God the glory. Just before we start, guys, please hit that subscription button to keep you in line of subsequent episodes. So let's hit the show. Guys, are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. It's incompatibility in marriage. Let's understand what incompatibility means actually before we hit the main.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's important that before we go to incompatibility, first we need to understand the concept of compatibility itself.
Absolutely.
And then just to say the opposite is now incompatibility. Compatibility itself is to be aligned. It is the space of unity, the space of oneness. That is what compatibility is. And then in marriage, it is expected, like the Bible says, two becomes one. Right? Two becomes one, and then they become that oneness in itself. So incompatibility will now be a situation whereby the space of becoming one is becoming difficult. So if that unity itself is not found, then we say
it's
there is incompatibility in this particular marriage.
Thank you. Do you have any addition?
Yeah, just an illustration that a wise man once gave me. It's when you try to say mix oil and water. Oil and water will never mix. That is a practical example of incompatibility.
Because you see the oil is
it's separated. So if there is no oneness, then there is incompatibility in that marriage.
Thank you so much, viewers. I hope you got that simple illustration. Wow, need I say more? Okay, let's hit the next question. We want to know why most times we hear that incompatibility leads to separation or divorces. Why? I've come across so many people that will say, okay, or I've heard in the TV or on the news that not that they had any other issues, just incompatibility differences. How true is it that it could lead to separation and divorce cases?
Okay, thank you very much. First and foremost, we come to the realization that marriage, like we said, is the fusion, the coming together of two persons. And it is important we understand also that these two persons are coming with their own personality. They are coming with their own viewpoints. They are coming with their own value system, their belief, their orientation about life, their likes as well as their dislikes. So this is the two coming together. And the process of marriage, like we say, is that the two finally become wholeness, right? So if it happens that that is not happening for many obvious reasons, we are both not shifting grounds as relating to our positions about life, our viewpoints about life. Because I'm coming as my person, she's coming as a person, and we are not ready to. I feel, for instance, okay, for example, in an African society, it is expected, socially expected, that the woman is supposed to just become the man. The man don't become the woman, in the sense of your orientation. You're supposed to now kill your orientation. You're supposed to kill yourself to become the man. And then I come with that space, okay, I am the man, and I can support it even with biblical illustrations that say, okay, woman is supposed to be subject to the man and many things like that. So you see, I bring my African orientation and I support with some Christian orientation and then mix it all together and believe that I'm supposed to stand in my space. And then she comes on the ground and said, okay, yes, you're supposed to love me, and the whole. And then she's also standing on her space, right? She's not ready to change her orientation. She's not ready to change her value system, her way of life and everything. And there's no space of compromise between the two of us.
Right.
If that ship cannot come to unity to face the same direction,
then
life
it will
capsize. And that's the space where divorce comes in, separation comes in. First is the frustration in that particular marriage.
Definitely.
And after the frustration,
it will lead to. Yeah, they actually say two captains can't, control a ship. So that's just the summary of that. Ma'am, your take on this?
Adding on to what he said, the Bible tells us that two people cannot work together except they agree. If there is no agreement, if there is no willingness to move, like he said, shift. I'm coming with my 100%, you're coming with your 100%, but we need to have a middle point. There are days I need to move from my 100 to my 50. There are days he needs to move from his 100 to his 50 so that we can still have that 100. There are days he will bring 30. There are days I'll bring 70. There are days he will bring 99. There are days I'll bring 1. There are days he will bring 100. There are days I'll bring 0. We must have agreements. We must have that oneness when at the end of the day we still have that 100. So I think the problem these days is that people are not willing to move. They are not willing to change or adjust or adapt to the newness or to the situation of moving forward together in life, journeying together. So it becomes a bit problematic because of that.
Thank you so much. Speaking of just what you mentioned now, I think we should also try to understand the causes of these incompatibility issues. Because meeting each other halfway or 100 and bringing 900 and 0 and 99 and 1. I really love that illustration, but I believe that we should point out, it's important for viewers to understand what are the often causes that leads to this incompatibility, probably to help them understand how they could bring whatever they need to bring to the table, 100, 0, 99, 1 and all of that. What are the causes really?
Well, one that stands out for me is stubbornness. Stubbornness goes hand in glove with pride. Once you are stubborn, pride will set in. And it also goes back to the previous point. We are not willing to move. I'm going to stay stuck on this position. This is how I do things. This is how you must do things. The inability to say, okay, how do you want us to do it? I can try to do it like this if that is fine with you. So that's, for me, the spirit of stubbornness is why there is incompatibility in marriage. Pride as well, and then inability to communicate. If we are not speaking the same language, there's no way that marriage will move forward.
Do you have any more additions?
I think the first thing again in this whole conversation, one thing that stands out is the space of compromise.
I love that.
If there's no compromise in marriage, the space of incompatibility becomes a constant factor. Right?
True,
because I believe this is where I'm supposed to be, you believe this is where you're supposed to be, and then there's no middle ground. Compromise will be we coming to the middle ground and say, okay, what am I supposed to let go to ensure this marriage go forward? Or what am I supposed to hold on to? That needs to be clear. And so with that, I was some of the factors I can just pick now that leads to incompatibility. First, I raised the issue of culture. Right. Our cultural orientation, right? Now speaking from the space of a man, for instance, like I said, the argument that it's a man's world, the society is subject in that space. that can become a challenge. And if you mix it with the contemporary conception itself, people coming from that angle, that becomes a fundamental fact to consider. Another thing is lack of empathy. Lack of empathy.
I think that really goes along.
Yes, it's one reason why people don't compromise, and it's one reason why, as long as no compromise, you cannot have unity in your home.
That's true.
Because if I am able to
feel what you
feel, there's what we call affective empathy, right? And there's what we call cognitive empathy.
Right.
Affective is when I can feel what you feel, right? And understand from that space. Then cognitive is just I understand it, but I don't feel it. Right, but in the space of marriage, you need affective empathy.
Yeah,
I must feel what you feel and put myself in your own position. So if we have an argument, for instance, now, the question I ask myself is, I understand what I am trying to say, but can I leave myself and now put myself in your position to understand where you are coming from,
your perspective.
And then it goes to what she just said now, communication. If we tend to communicate, if we try to communicate, right, it becomes easy for us to understand where we are coming from.
Very true.
Right? Because in most cases, it's just misunderstanding. And then you realize that where you're coming from, where I'm coming from, the difference is not just very much. All I just need to just move a little bit, you move a little bit, and then again, another point is the space of respect.
Respect.
We don't respect ourselves. The men don't respect the women don't respect the man. That it's fundamental in marriage. And it's beyond the fact that me seeing myself as the head of the home. I must respect even my children, right?
Everyone deserves respect.
Everyone deserves respect. We talk about it a lot. And I used to give example of a small boy that I know, a family friend, Onra. And I tell her a lot. It's about 4 years old now, 3 or 4 years old. I learn a lot from him, right? Wow. I listen to him. Sometimes he tell me, Uncle Patrick, wait, let's do it this way. You understand? And when you stay and try to reason from where it's coming from,
it's actually making sense.
Then you realize it's making sense. You understand? So you move that away from. You don't see him as a boy, as a small boy, but you see him as a person.
Right.
And the same thing has to come to the marriage. You understand? You see the partner as a person. You see the humanity in the person, and then you flow in. And then by the time you see those,
thank you so much. In fact, that's really, let's just say that summarizes it. If you're able to just feel the empathy and then the respect of the thing, thank you so much. I usually hear my husband say everybody deserves respect, even the children. Viewers, I think that's where most of us have lost it, especially in the African culture, the patriarchy. I'm sorry to say this, may God help our marriages. Respect is very important. So please, let's move on to the next question. I want us to relate with your marriage. I know you guys are having a very interesting and admirable marriage. So in terms of personality differences, knowing that my sister is on the very gentle, amiable side, and Brother Patrick, you guys.
Yeah, Brother
Patrick. Brother Patrick, he's a funny person and nice to be with, and a comedian and everything. But there are two contracts. What would I use? If both of you, that's why I gave you guys this topic. I know both of you are opposite, but you make a wonderful and amazing couple. How do you make compatibility work for your marriage?
Okay, I before I answer that, I just want to in 2 seconds, maybe 2-3 seconds. I know for the sake of time. When we started this relationship, somebody once raised that Patrick and brother. How would it work?
I sincerely wouldn't have seen it working. I wouldn't have separately from you.
Because I am an extrovert.
Absolutely.
I am happy to be an extrovert.
Extrovert.
I sell that. That is my business, right? I've made it work. I've commercialized that and all that. And then she being the introvert and the quiet person and everything. Like I said, it is a space of knowing this person and being willing to let go of as much as you can. Letting go does not imply losing yourself.
True.
Right?
I think people need to get that clearly.
Letting go does not imply losing yourself. It is
Mm.
you still being you, but
Okay.
within the confines of what is acceptable
Right.
for the person.
Right.
How much of my personality, in the sense of my extrovertness now, how much of it can she take? Right? And then understand the fact that now you are no longer walking alone, and that has been key for me. Right? Understand the fact that okay, now this journey is no longer your journey alone.
It's not about you.
Now, even when I go out alone, I know that I carry the name of everybody. Right? So for that reason, I'm like, okay, fine. So I let go of some, and then I take in some. And that has
been working smoothly. Sis, how has it been working for you?
Yes, it is.
I know your own part. Want to hear how through the gentle quiet
My
has
own,
been able to
well,
accommodate.
like you said, I'm the children.
And I see you're coming
I'm
out.
the
I can see
one
you
at home.
see.
Mrs. Rhoda is now. Really,
I try.
I can see. She's
try.
not
I'm the
relaxed.
children at home.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm a children.
Yes,
Wow.
he actually is. At home is like
Opposite of what he is.
I'm the one who is and then he's the children, and then outside he's
wow, interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
So, like you said, understanding your partner, I knew him as that person. I considered it as like, won't he be too much for me? Like, can I handle?
I love your sincerity.
Can I handle the package? But with the help of God and Holy Spirit's intervention, He's helping us make it work. Like he said, we know how to temper it down and how to increase the tempo. So if I wouldn't say it shouldn't be himself. I mean, if he wants to express himself, you have to do it. But remember, you are representing the family. So it's not for you to now do anything that will jeopardize us or put us in any uncomfortable situation. And I also have to let him be who he wants to be,
really.
And he also lets me be who I want to be. So it's just trying to
that balance. Thank you so much. I love the sincerity from you both. Okay, the next question now is, I think this is very important. People struggle with personality differences in marriage, and I think often than not it leads to divorces and separation. So I don't know your take on, in terms of personality differences, how do you think viewers watching could make it work for them? How could they try to be compatible regardless of their personality differences? This is more like an advice for relationships and people that are yet to go into marriage, and probably even people that are married. You never know who it could help.
Okay, I need to look at the camera now and say this. That we must understand that we are all different. Right? And that's I think that's the central point here, to say okay, we are different as people, and then we come into the marriage as different people, and then we must just try to make it work, compromise as much as possible and everything. But the reason why I'm looking at the camera is to say that in as much as we are different, what worked for us may not be it is not the only way that works.
They say there's no formula.
There's no formula per se on the best way to ensure that it works. But it is to say that if you took that decision to say we want to, because the beauty is that I think I need to put this for the record, is that there's no relationship that is 100% perfect.
That's true.
There's no relationship whereby the unity is on point, right? There's going to be days whereby you do not agree on ideas, you do not agree on what to do, even as simple as what to wear. There are days in which you disagree on what to wear, on what to cook in the house, and a whole lot of stuff, right? So we must come to the realization that there's always going to be difference, right? Accept it, right? And once you accept the fact that that difference will come, then you now consciously work on how do we move away from this difference. I don't need to attack the personality of that person, but let's tackle the problem. What best way do you think we can go about this particular solution, this particular issue, right? And then communication is key. Don't if I offend you, don't keep it. Don't feel that okay, this is small, then you let it go. Then tomorrow again you're waiting for another one, right? And then you say you let it go and everything. if you are not in agreement to anything, say it. Silence is consent.
That's true.
And if you did not say anything, and you feel okay, that's fine. Over time, it will explode.
That's true.
It will explode. So if there's an issue, address it together. Come, let's talk about it. This thing that is transpiring, I don't want it this way. Then we talk on the best way to go about it. And the popular one they used to give us before marriage is the McLean theory.
I was going to say
the McLean theory.
Please share with us.
Okay, the McLean theory, I think, is a popular thing. Maybe because I'm making it scholarly now by saying the McLean theory. The toothpaste theory, I should say now.
Right, okay, please share.
The toothpaste. Okay, the notion is that in most cases when you go for marriage, they will tell you that
okay, person they took me from the end.
Yeah.
The person they took me from the edge.
Issue with my husband. Really,
so you see, why some people will have that issue. Some people, like myself, I don't care where you are pressing the toothpaste from. Just press. You get that. I have no problem with it. You get so and then you just need to know the person. You get me? Know the things that they can accommodate. Know the things they can accommodate, and then consciously work on it. And then even if you are the one at the receiving end, right, of the other person not working on their space, also you too, because the responsibility is also on you.
That's
right?
true.
To try and blend the other person too, and then it will work. It will work. It's a consciousness to tell yourself that this have to work. When the belief is set, it's the law of attraction.
That's true.
What you believe
will work
for you. If you believe this marriage will work, you stick to it. Put in what is necessary
to make it work.
It will work.
Thank you, Sam. And just to wrap up. From what you said, before I give my sister a time, there's something that caught my attention. That's my clean story. Really, I never really actually heard that story. It was when we got married, and I noticed my husband is always like, I usually used to press from anywhere, middle, end, and then like, no, you press from the end. So you see my husband, so he decided to be buying my own toothpaste from the end. It's all because no matter how much I try to press, even when I press on, he tell me, no, you didn't, So to solve that problem, he made sure but at some point I decided to be intentional about learning it, and even started teaching the children when they came in, okay, you must press from the end, you must finish from the end. So I think that adjustment it goes a long way. And then, as you mentioned, be intentional about working towards it. No marriage is a bed of roses. We all have our own part to play, our own work to do. So I think this is just my own addition to what you have said. Men, I don't know if you have anything to wrap up.
It's the ability to adjust, to accommodate, and to be teachable. If we are not willing to learn, then it may become difficult. If, like you said, you don't like pressing toothpaste this way, that way, probably a solution will be to get it. But if you feel okay, you know what, I'll just try. I'll try, and then you put an effort every day to just press it from there. You may not get it perfectly, but at least it doesn't look squashed, I'm also not a fan of pressing toothpaste anywhere. I like my things to be orderly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if, for instance, you get somebody who is not bothered about those things, it doesn't mean you should now superimpose your own personality or your own views on that person. You don't care, so I might as well just do this. Or because you do this, you must do it this way. There's just that need to adapt, adjust, and be teachable. And pray, yes. Because honestly, some of these things you solve them in the place of prayer.
That's true.
Most of these things not most. I can't.
The place of
you have
prayer.
To solve them in the place of prayer, because it's the repeated action that makes people get tired of marriage, and then they feel okay. Separation or divorce. So if it can be sorted in the place of prayer, every other thing will work.
May God help us. And I think patience, because that's something I personally, right from time, I really never had. I'm just sharing from my experience. And I think, but my husband saw beyond patience. He saw the other areas where I was flourishing. So if there are things that he feels like I'm not doing, he gives me time. Like the issue of toothpaste, he noticed that was like pissing him off, but he didn't want to like be putting his, throwing tantrums. So just to be patient with me, he decided to buy his, but that the action he took to buy that start having his own toothpaste now made me be like, no, this must be very serious to him. And then it made me, get more intentional. But it took him patience, like, okay, let me leave her to do her own thing and I will get, So I think patience goes a long way. And then we too also paying attention, being, sensitive when you know that this thing, the other partner is not, make a move, be empathic. That issue of empathy, it goes a long way too.
I just want to add that two things very important. Appreciation. You must appreciate the little efforts that your partner is also putting into trying to change. Because Rome was not made in a beautiful
That's
day.
true.
These are people that have possibly lived more than 20 or better still more than 15, 20 years of their life doing a particular thing. And now they are coming to join you, don't expect them to just change overnight. Appreciate the little effort and make them know you appreciate it. It's not that, okay, I notice you are doing it and then, no, make them know you appreciate it. That's one. And another point is that you should also not take advantage of the patience of your partner. Because it is one thing for me to say, okay, fine, I understand the fact that you have been doing this way over time. This is your personality over time.
No.
Then, because you know that I'm magnanimous with this now, then you take advantage of that. You continue doing that.
I think that
again becomes a challenge, and you will not achieve compatibility.
That's true. So thank you for that. And I think that's where empathy comes in. Like I said, I will still go back to the toothpaste story. I really felt bad that my husband should go that extent to buy, and I think empathy made me to be conscious that, okay, no, I have to consciously, even when I see myself going to mirror, I'm like, no, you have to start. So intentionally I started working towards it, and then the children had to follow suit, and several other things. There are things like chairs, seeing something coming out of the chair, and maybe my eyes will not, sometimes your eyes might not be, but some people are very detailed with things, they pick, why is this not like this? Try and adjust it, make the children, and then your eyes goes there. You don't take anything for granted. Anything anyone points out, it could be the man, it could be the woman. In my own case, my husband is the more very observant, very detailed and all that. I also have my own strengths. I just don't want to blow my trumpet. So having heard from me, I just thought I should add as well, so that if viewers watching, if you could relate to their story or mine, whatever the case might be, we'll have different issues in different marriages. But I believe that at the end of the day, it will work out for our good. So do you have any more, just one statement that will leave viewers, to go back and reflect on, especially married couples and the ones that are about to get married? Just one statement that will hit them so strong.
Okay, I think we have ladies first now.
One statement that will hit them so strong. Okay. The Bible says, watch and pray. The place of watching is actually being deliberate. Walking, when you watch, you are not sleeping. You are alert. You are sensitive. So you have to be sensitive in your marriage. Like we've said, be sensitive to your partner and pray. The place of prayer can never be relegated. It is very, very important. It is the bedrock of the marriage.
Yes,
you have to just come together and offer words of prayer. If together as a couple, on your own, as a family, the place of prayer is very, very important. It solves issues. You win your wars and your battles in the place of prayer.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to say first that considering the fact that we've established the fact that marriage is different for everybody. So I want to believe that there will be more experienced people also watching this. Absolutely. People that have they've experienced a lot in their marriage and all that. You can also comment on the comment section. Right. And just tell us about yours. Somebody will be reading and somebody will be blessed. Okay. That being said, for me, I believe that yes, prayer is key. Responsibility is also very, very important. You must show responsibility for your marriage. You must be positive about your marriage. And in most cases, we play around the Ephesian advice, which talks about the love of Christ and the submission of the church. The marriage must work that way. The love must be paramount. And submission and respect for each other must also be paramount in your marriage. If that is there, if the love is there, submission and respect is there, compatibility will just be an easy end product. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sam. To wrap up, just one more thing to put together from what they've said. Prayer, love, submission, respect. Viewers, may God bless you. See you next episode. Bye.